when you get out of your own head and you step out in bravery, there's just something really liberating about that.
Y'all, she preaching. Listen. Pastor Mackenzie.
No, ma'am. That's what's not going to happen.
It's prophetic.
Well, then you're having more babies if we're going into prophecy.
Well, on to the next question. Thank you all for watching Moms Can Too.
I won. Did I just win? I think I just won.
Hello, you are watching Moms Can Too. My name is REBA BEENE, and I am so excited to hopefully inspire, encourage, and motivate you beautiful moms out there to make healthy nutrition and exercise a part of your lifestyle. Please help me welcome my first guest, Mackenzie Scott. Mackenzie Scott is an educator, a wife, and a mom. That's right. Mackenzie is a mom of 4 beautiful children, and she has figured out how to make health and nutrition and daily movement a part of her routine. She's found her rhythm. Moms, please help me welcome Mackenzie Scott!
Hello.
How are you?
I am wonderful. I'm super happy to be here with you.
I am so excited to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, I feel honored.
Well, I feel privileged to have you in my home.
Aww.
Okay, y'all, I'm gonna stop. Mackenzie is my sister-in-law.
We're related. I've been here a lot.
I'm being so silly. So, Mackenzie, can you tell us a little about yourself?
Sure.
And what you do?
Yes. Yes, my name's Mackenzie Scott. I am a wife. I've been married to your brother for 17 years. We have 4 awesome children together. Cayman's 15, about to be 6. No, I'm already getting it wrong. This is what happens when you have 4 children. Cayman is 16, about to be 17.
No, he's not.
Yeah, I know, right? He's like a man living in my house. Talon's 15. About to be 16. And then I have twin girls that are 6, Sunday and Sailor. And then for a living, I have been a public educator for 21 years. So this year has been, in 21 years, this year has probably been one of my absolute favorites. I'm teaching 5th grade at a beautiful school and just having the time of my life.
That is amazing.
21 years in public education.
That's funny.
Yes.
I text Anita, my sister, yesterday, and I didn't want to text you because I knew you were at school teaching. And so I said, how long has Mackenzie been teaching? She said 37 years.
1,000,005, basically.
I was like, Anita, I'm 37. Mackenzie has not been teaching. We are not that far apart.
You know what?
in age.
21 and 37, that's pretty much the same thing. So
They're pretty close.
I'm a pretty good educator, can't you tell?
What do you teach?
Reading and writing.
Okay, so yeah, we'll steer away from anything math.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's funny because Anita's like, when I teach, don't ask me anything about math. And I'm the same way.
You know, I've dipped into math several times and I can figure it out and it's great. But if you're going to peel back the layers, it's the reading and writing that I love.
Aww.
Especially with big kids, like 5th graders in the elementary. They're kind of the seniors of the elementary school.
Yeah.
And I love it.
I remember when I was a teacher's assistant, I can't even remember what year, but I loved the 4th and 5th graders.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was so funny to watch the 6th graders be like, you're in 4th and 5th grade. Like,
You're so annoying.
I know, we're going to middle school next year, so.
Oh my goodness, that pecking order is something else.
Okay, well, we could go on about education because we have family on education, but we are here to educate, inspire, and motivate our moms, encourage them to live a healthier lifestyle through nutrition and exercise. So my question for you is, has health and nutrition always been a part of your lifestyle? And if so, how did you manage this lifestyle after having children?
You know, I remember being a child, and my parents exercised a lot. And I remember we lived in our cool 2-story house in Hobbs, and I will never forget watching them. We had a dirt road, and watching them side by side running together. And they had been out for a run, and they ran up to the front door. And I just remember as a child even thinking, my parents are so cool. Look at them running, you know. And that's one of my first memories of being inspired to exercise was as a child. And so it's always been part of my life, not because it was, you know, forced on me or expected, but my parents modeled that for me. And so I can't remember a time when I didn't do some sort of exercise. You know, you go through your phases of liking different things, but I've always done some sort of something, whether it be I got into a big running kick for a lot of years. And then I got into only lifting for a lot of years.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the older I get, I'm really in love with walking right now and like the serenity of it all. And,
Yes.
so yeah, it's always been something that's been in my life. With children, you know, it ebbs and flows and you get busy and sometimes you get beat down, but that's something I will always come back to. Even if I take a break, I almost feel like my body starts to tell me it's time. And it's like a craving that you can tell. Like my body's telling me, you've taken a break. It's time to get back. I need this. And so it's just something that I've always naturally felt like I needed to do and wanted to do in the different phases. But the great thing is that since I do it, I also don't push it on my children at all.
Okay.
But, you know, the boys have watched me exercise their whole lives. And so now they naturally want to exercise, and they do, and they work out a lot. And it's nothing that I've ever encouraged or told them they needed to. I think it's the same for me. They see their parents doing it. So it's a very normal thing in our home. And then for my girls, you know, they're only 6, but I can't tell you how many times I've been, you know, doing a video on the TV and I'm in the living room and they want to get right beside me and try to do the different exercises. And so I'm hoping it trickles to them too. So.
Yeah. So after you had, the 2 girls are adopted and you adopted them at 6 months?
They were 4 months.
4 months. How did you manage to create a lifestyle of fitness with them being in your home now? Because I know the boys are a little bit older, so you can kind of be like, go play basketball or something while I work out.
I don't know. I think I worked out just in my home for a long time. I haven't been to a gym in a while, and so I've kind of found my rhythm. Either I'm going to be out walking or I'm going to, if that's not going to work, or if I can't find the time to be away from the children, then I just work out in the house. And, you know, I think people get it twisted. They think if you're going to exercise, you need hours. And you can get a really great 20-minute workout in at any time of the day when you find a window. And that's what I typically would do is grab a video that I knew was going to be a quick 20 minutes, but I was going to get what I needed. And so just with that understanding I think it feels daunting whenever you feel like you need to be doing something for an hour and a half. It's a 20-minute window. And so whether, you know, you're doing it at nap time or whether you're doing it before you go to bed or whether you're going to set your alarm 30 minutes earlier to try to get that in before you get ready for the day, 20 minutes isn't daunting. And there's a way to wiggle that around. So
yeah. My thing is get movement in.
Somehow.
Just get movement in. Yeah. Nobody's saying go out there and be the best CrossFit athlete or, you know, be the Olympic runner, whatever. Just get some movement in because your body will thank you for it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I know that a big part, so when I first met Mackenzie, she was, you were an educator, but before she was a personal trainer? Or
I did. Yes, I did get certified to do personal training.
Okay.
It was something that I really wanted to do, and I worked hard for that certification. I think I didn't have the best experience. I didn't pick the right gym to work for. I didn't know any better, you know, being young and not really knowing how to navigate that and not having a lot of life experience. Okay. I got myself into just kind of some sticky situations. It is something, though, that over the years I have thought, you know, if I ever had the choice where I could I was so comfortable financially that I could really branch out and try a new profession. I'd love to go back to it someday and help others.
Yeah.
But yeah, personal training when I was in the process of being certified, I loved every minute of it. But
yeah,
it's a goal to come back to someday for sure.
I remember having conversations with you about you being a personal trainer, and something that I really respected about Mackenzie was she focused on her nutrition as well. And I remember one summer I was watching the boys, and Talon, he walked into the kitchen, and this particular summer you said they could have maybe like one unhealthy snack and one healthy snack. And he walked into the kitchen and he said, I want a snack. And he goes, I'm going to make a wise choice and I'm going to get an orange. And I also remember like maybe in 2020 you ran and Cayman was running with you. How did you encourage your children to make healthy choices a part of their lifestyle? Because I know you don't say you have to do this.
Yeah.
How did you encourage them to want to do it?
So with the food, that was the rule in the house. They could have one sweet a day. And they also called me the water Nazi just because I understand the importance of hydration.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you don't feel well, 9 times out of 10, you're probably dehydrated. And if you'll drink more, we can, keep it moving. Whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know. I think I'm right. But anyway. But the
You're
one
right.
sweet a day, that's been a staple rule in the household for a long time. And it just became part of our normal. Or if they wanted 2 sweets a day, you've got to counter it with some fruit then, or, do something. And so it's just the accountability we held the boys to. But, honestly, them being teenagers, I don't police that much anymore. I feel like, now it's time for you to care for your body, and you're going to be able to tell. If you're going to eat too much, you're going to see the difference. And with one of them, Talon especially, he decided my skin doesn't look good, and I think it's because I'm not eating well. And I said, I guarantee you it's because you're not eating well.
Wow.
So on his own, he started making choices to eat healthy, and he saw his skin clear up. So here comes Cayman saying, I don't like the way my skin's looking. And I'm like, baby, you got to check that sugar you're intaking. And he now has said it worked for Talon. I'm going to try it too. So he started to make this adjustment, and he's starting to eat healthier because they can see the results of it. But that's them policing themselves, not me policing them.
Yeah.
And so the girls are in the annoying phase of me having to police it. I'm no more Skittles or whatever.
For sure.
But yeah, the
so
boys.
It's also because of observation. Do you think it's also because of observation, them watching you make wise choices with your food and seeing that their mom is pretty in her skin?
Thank you for saying that.
And Talon's like, I want to have pretty skin like my mom.
Aww,
so
maybe so. I think they come to me more of whenever they're needing help and they need advice. I do think with the girls though, I never want to impose. This is one thing I'm very careful of with the girls is I don't ever say anything negative about myself. I don't say anything negative about my body. I don't talk about food will make you fat. We never ever have any of those conversations just because I don't want to ingrain insecurities in them early on. I feel like when they get older, they're going to have battles of their own. And I am working so hard not to contribute to that and really helping them believe that they are so beautiful, because I can say it all day long, but if they don't feel that, that's going to be hard to deal with. And I recognize that I've beat myself up a lot over the years unnecessarily. So I'm working really hard with them to not say those negative things. But, some of the things I'm trying to do is when they say they're so sweet and if they want to share their sweet snack with me and I decline, they do ask me, why don't you want this? And I will say, I don't like the way sugar makes me feel. And so it's just those little things that I'm just trying to encourage them. You can have it, but my choice is no, because I don't like how I feel when I eat that, And so whether I'm doing it right or wrong, it's kind of where we are, and me really trying to protect them from having bad body image or being afraid to eat different things, but just trying to model, we want to feel good.
Isn't she like the best mom?
Oh.
No. Hard no.
Yeah. So I'm gonna jump off the notes for a second because what you said, it's something that I've been thinking about a lot in the past, maybe 5 or 6 months. Mm-hmm. How important do you think it is to surround? Because I have friends who like have those mommy and me groups.
Oh, yeah.
And they work out while their kids are doing whatever. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I've never been a part of one, but I always thought like I want to have healthy conversations in the midst of working out. Mm-hmm. And I also want my children to be surrounded or my child, I don't have any children, but I have a child, to be surrounded.
Maybe that's prophetic.
Oh, no. One and fun. One and fun. You hear that, Jesus? One and fun.
Right on, yeah.
But to be surrounded with healthy community. And I know with kids, you're going to be like,
Right.
don't say that because they're still growing.
Yeah.
But how important do you think it is for you to surround yourself, whether you're working out or even in your career, with people who are mentally healthy?
Yeah. So you nailed it. I think the older I've gotten, the more I've realized that mental health trumps everything. And how you feel and how you think trumps everything. Because it doesn't matter how successful you are or what your job title is or how much money you're making. If you don't have good mental health, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So you can live lavishly and be depressed or have full anxiety all the time. And so all that lavishness doesn't matter if you don't feel well and if you're not mentally okay, which is why I've made some really hard decisions for myself and for the girls this past year. Worth it, 100%. It's very scary, very difficult, but worth it. But it's interesting what you say. So surrounding yourself by people that are mentally healthy, that's hard to find because people can put on a facade and you can think they're one way. And then the more time you spend with them and you get to know them, you realize, but it's not that way. Like you can put on a front, but the realness of that sometimes can be a facade. But what I've also noticed is women especially, our society has fed us how we speak to each other and the things that are allowable and also what's expected, honestly. And so, like, saying negative things about yourself is normal and it's what's expected. So me to say, gosh, I just feel like my face looks so fat and these cheeks and or whatever, or, you know, my gut is just spilling over these jeans today, and then we'll smile and we'll laugh. That's very normal. But how weird would it be if I walked up to you and I said, Reba, girl, I feel beautiful right now. Look at this outfit.
Wow.
Because if I said that, everyone would think she's conceited, she's just in love with herself, and we would immediately have negative thoughts. But that's because that's society. That is what is normal right now. And it's been that way for a long time. And so this is something, it's interesting. I've thought so much about this lately, and I've even thought about it with the students in my classroom. Trying to normalize being kind to yourself is very difficult. So even children at 10 years old, I can say, you know, we can talk about all the things we don't like about ourselves. You could make a list right now of 10 things that you don't like about yourself. That would be so incredibly easy. But if I said, make me a list of 5 things that you love about yourself, would you struggle? And the answer is yes.
Wow.
Or take it a step further. Can you tell somebody something that you love about yourself? And the cringiness of all that, you see the kids even shrink back, and I can't tell people what I love about myself.
Wow, yeah.
Yes, you can though, and it's okay. And so we just have this thing right now, just trying to normalize compliments to each other, normalize complimenting ourselves, but it's just the society that we live in right now. So finding other women that would be willing to have that common language, it's pretty hard to find. But I'm on a journey right now, and I'm working really hard on myself. And, you know, I do have a small business now where I'm working for a health and wellness company, and I have loved what I'm doing because I'm getting to help women feel better, and I get to model what healthy conversations look like. And I'm working so hard with my students, but also with other people of we can feel good and we can be proud of ourselves and we can say it out loud, and it's okay. You know?
I love that.
But you talk about being a little bit alone in that journey.
Yeah.
It's hard to find other people to come along, but I'm trying. I'm working really hard on that.
So that's one thing that I have, honestly, I've observed. I said observed. You can add that one to Webster's dictionary.
Yeah.
But one thing I have observed with the many years that you and Reggie have been married is Mackenzie is very protective of her family.
Oh, goodness.
And if she does not, I can say this with 100% certainty that when you're uncomfortable, okay, we're not doing that. And I've seen like, okay, these people are not what I want to be a part of. And I absolutely respect that about you. And so I've got to change my language.
Yeah, it's hard.
I am gorgeous. No,
you are gorgeous.
Thank
and
you.
But see, I think that's the thing is we're so trained.
Right.
And we don't even know we're trained.
Yeah.
And so just recognizing that it's not okay, even though it's the norm. It's not okay. That's really hard to do.
Wow.
And then be bold enough. It takes a lot of bravery to say anything about yourself that's good, that you like. I mean, it's difficult, but
it is. Yeah. Speaking of difficult, so in those seasons where life and we're unable to wake up at 5 a.m. and work out because we have a 5 a.m. basketball game practice with your kids.
Right.
How do you deal with those seasons where you're not able to be consistent?
So I would love to say that I was so kind to myself and forgiving. That is not my story by any stretch. I think over the years I've beat myself up pretty bad, because there's seasons you ebb and flow, and everybody does. My body type is if I let up and if I don't pay attention, I will immediately gain weight. It's just my genetics.
Okay.
And a lot of my family members are the same way. And so for me personally, if I get to a season where I'm overwhelmed or with anything that's going on, if I let up, there's going to be a huge shift in my body. And then, when I don't feel like I look good, then it does mess with your mental health. And I've been in that spiral multiple times. I wish I could say I was kind to myself, and I wasn't in those seasons. But what that's done is I think that's a thought process that I wasn't able to break out of. I think I got that thought process pretty early on, and that's what motivates me to work so hard with my girls, And so I would love to say that I was kind. I wasn't. Now, I can say who was kind, and his name is Mackenzie Scott.
Aww.
And I can say in any season of my life, he has been a steady, you are beautiful, and it's okay. And from his perspective, I love you in all these ways. And but you know how it is. Somebody can say something to you, and if you don't feel it, then it's hard to work through. But he's been a huge motivation through our marriage. And against popular opinion, I keep myself together a lot for him. And whether people agree with me or not, or want to say, it's supposed to be for you, not for your man, it is for my man, whether anybody likes it or not.
Yeah.
I adore him, and he's never said, I wish or I expect,
Yeah.
But because I love him, I do want to keep myself together for him.
Yeah.
And the more I've noticed it's 17 years, y'all, like we're not newlyweds, but the more confident I am, the better our marriage goes. And things shift, and I won't be specific about those things, but when I'm confident, things are really good. And when I don't feel good about myself, it's very difficult. Like even our relationship is. And so I just find a lot of, it's just really important for me and for him as well,
That, what you said about when you're not taking care of yourself, it affects your relationship.
Absolutely.
And I was speaking with a friend, and she said, if you don't, on the airplanes, they say put your mask on first and then take care of everyone else. And it's so true. And I told her I can always tell when I have not been eating right or exercising the way that I should, because my relationship with Ava, I'm not doing the things that I need to do with her. Yeah. My relationship with Caleb, Caleb's like, did you go for a run today?
Yeah, right. It's real.
And it's so true.
It is so true.
You have to take care of yourself. How do you bounce back into it without the feeling of regret? Because I know that after I had Ava and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I know my situation was different, but I was like, how am I going to go back?
Right.
Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
So how do you try to change that mindset of, okay, you know what? It's a journey. How did you bounce back into the lifestyle of working out? Because I know after each child, it's different.
Right. Very much so. Honestly, I think something has to happen. There's got to be a shift at some point. And everybody, I don't want to call it a rock bottom, but maybe so. Maybe you do feel like you've hit your rock bottom, but there's always been a spark or a shift or something that's happened that's kind of catapulted me forward. Whether it's, I see a friend doing really well and I'm so proud of her and I'm like, I can do this. I can do this too. Or maybe it's a show you're watching, or maybe it's just a video that you see, but there's always this spark in this shift that you're like, okay, I'm ready. Or you get really tired of feeling terrible. And marinating in the terrible is also normal. And people normalize this. We all don't feel good. And so let's just all keep not feeling good and let's joke about it. And we're 40 or whatever. And this is, 40s. And this has to be this way. And it's like, but it doesn't though, And I think you just get to a place where I'm just tired of this and I'm willing to try something different, And I can say I've always come to that place where I've had enough, and getting back to feeling like yourself shifts, because who I myself a long time ago isn't myself today. But there's always been a comeback to, let's at least try. I just never want to get to a place in my life where I just surrender, like I give up. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm tired of trying. I don't know that I'll ever give up. I think I'm always going to be, what can I do? And not that I feel like I have arrived, and not that, I don't know if I'm ever going to be exactly where I want to be. I don't know if any woman can say, I'm exactly where I want to be.
Right.
And maybe they can't. I don't know any woman like that. But, and not beating yourself up, but it's always something to strive for. I can always feel better, or I can always do better. And there's always been a spark of something that's thrown me in that direction. And so
the tenacity.
Yeah.
Yep. I can remember when I was like, okay, I have to start moving.
Yes.
And I tried to run in a 5K, and I was pregnant before, so there wasn't a lot of movement before then. And I just felt so bummed out. And I was like, but I used to do this. And so the next year I thought to myself, okay, we're going to go walking. And so I started walking, and then I eventually started running again. Yeah. But something that I learned through that was you kind of have to just put the blinders on.
Right.
And I know everybody, because social media, you see all these amazing women doing all these amazing things, but, real life,
I know.
real life, we're going to have to take our time. I wish I had the Hollywood budget to have that personal trainer, but I'm pushing out regret and just realizing, okay, it's going to take time and just have to deal with real life.
Yeah,
man. Okay. So bouncing back from that time of not being able to stick to your routine because you have life. I've spoken to some moms who I'm like, okay, let's go for a run. Let's go for a walk. And they're like, no, but my kids are here. And, there's these, they feel guilty.
Right.
Taking time away from their children. What would you say to the mom who feels guilty for making time for herself?
See, isn't this funny? We're coming back to society here. That's common language. We have decided, or somebody has decided, that women aren't supposed to do that. And if you do that, you're selfish. And if you get a sitter because you're going to go have a facial or whatever, you must be all about yourself and all that, which is not true. But that's where we are. That's what society has fed us, that we are not supposed to care for ourselves. We are supposed to be so surrendered to the home and held here, because how dare we get out and do anything for ourselves, which is crazy, because I don't know. If you told me I'm going to get a sitter because I'm going to go get a massage, I think that's fantastic, but that's just a different place in my life. But I can imagine if you posted that on social media, or if other people knew, what kind of flack you would get for that.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Right. On the flip side, what if you did get a sitter and you went and got a massage, and when you came back, you felt so much at peace and you were so calm, and then you were able to care for your children calmly, and you were able to make dinner and create an environment of peace and fun because you had taken care of yourself? Is that worse than if you would have felt guilty and stayed home, not felt good, hollered at everybody because you're stressed, made dinner, but that's what we're saying is good because you didn't take care of yourself and you were just staying home. So that's just that funky mindset that isn't true and it's not correct. Or if I am going to go to the gym, and so somebody's going to have to watch my kids. Oh my goodness gracious. No, because I'm going to come back and I'm going to be proud of myself. I've been a good role model for my children that we exercise.
Speak.
You know, I'm going to feel more confident, which is going to change my attitude.
Yeah.
And then I can create a better family environment for all of us. We just don't think it that way. We're just thinking, no, I'm gonna stay where I am because I'm supposed to. No, you're not. No, you're not. And are you going to be brave enough to, you know, stand up and say, I refuse to accept this mindset that I can't care for myself because of it comes back to what others think.
Wow.
You know, that's
yeah.
all this is what are other people going to think?
Ooh.
Well, so what? Well, who cares what other people think? Let me tell you, the older I get, that is liberating. The more I quit caring about other people, I'm like, where has this mindset been all my life? That is some freeing stuff to stop caring so much about other people's thoughts that are negative, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is that I need to be a little bit older
because
you are convicting me.
I wish I could go back. I wish I could go back so many years and release myself from fear of other people and their negative thoughts towards me. So what?
Yeah.
So what?
I was talking to some friends yesterday and we were just talking about running, and I call them grade A runners. Mm-hmm. And my friend sitting next to me, she was like, oh, stop it. I said, it's because I'm a perfectionist. And she said, that's a problem. And listening to you right now, I'm like, dang. Okay, let's just go paint the house, like make it look messy. And
you're so funny. You're like, I'm going to go extreme.
My goodness.
But I think, I think everybody has to figure these things out for themselves. We all have our own struggles. I have a million things I'm still struggling with, but getting older it really has been a blessing. And it's something that I'm very thankful for. And I'm thankful that the Lord has opened my eyes so much to, you've been running yourself ragged for people that truly don't care about you for a very long time, and so it's just been really freeing. And I think that comes with making really hard decisions. It comes with doing scary things and being brave, and then realizing, oh my goodness, it's not so scary. If I'll force myself to be brave, I don't know, there's something radical that happens. Even with this new business that I started, I have to be brave and I have to step out of my comfort zone. But the reward that is coming with it is phenomenal. And how much more you can help people when you get out of your own head and you step out in bravery. There's just something really liberating about that.
Y'all, she preaching. Listen. Pastor Mackenzie.
No, ma'am. That's what's not going to happen.
It's prophetic.
Well, then you're having more babies if we're going into prophecy.
Well, on to the next question. Thank you all for watching Moms Can Too.
I won. Did I just win? I think I just won.
Okay, so
I did win. Look at you.
So going back, but you said something, and I want to go back because you said, "My goodness, I wish I could remember exact." But I know why I'm saying this. Surrounding yourself. I want to go back to that because you had to make like hard choices. And I know even for me in these past few years, I'm like, okay, I just have to make these hard choices and separate myself. It's going back to surrounding yourself with mentally. And I know that, again, nobody's 100% mentally healthy. I wish that was the case.
Yeah.
But surrounding yourself with people who are trying.
They're trying, true. Well, and even having your own capacity that if you aren't surrounded by people that are mentally stable, do you have the capacity to still stay mentally stable in the midst of that? And can you do that? And can you separate yourself from, receiving that negativity or being part of that spiral, And a lot of times, again, I think we feel we're supposed to step into that with somebody. Like you're supposed to. And there's a lot of times that I'm realizing if the Lord asks you to, that's one thing.
Right.
But the expectation is I will always step into this with you is not always the wisest decision. Maybe it's I'll be the steady. And so when you're done, I will always be here. I can't step into that with you right now, but I will be steady on the outside and wait. And I'm here when you're ready, And so I think it's also deciding, what do I have the capacity for? Can I step into this world with you? Or am I just going to have to stay on the outskirts and protect myself and my mental health at this point, And for a long time, I jumped in with anybody that I felt like was swirling, but I didn't have the tools to keep myself together in that, And so you just kind of fall into that pattern, and there's a lot to be learned right there.
So what inspires or motivates you to continue? Like, what's your why?
As cliche as it would sound, like you said, my family, my children and my husband, I am radically protective of them. Sometimes maybe to a fault, but majority of anything that I do in my life, if you ask me why I'm doing that, it's going to always pull back to something to do with either my children or my husband,
Yeah.
Reggie has been my steady for a very long time. If I've learned more lessons from anybody in my entire life, it is that man.
Aww.
And we're still so in love. It's almost like the honeymoon that never ends.
Yo, when we go to family events, I'm socializing with cousins or whatever. And not that they aren't, but they are. But together.
Oh, yes, we are very together. You'll find us hugged up in a corner somewhere. That's just been our lifestyle. But, through that, though, he's a lot of my motivation. He does leadership coaching, but he also just does life coaching. And even with me, I get to reap the benefits of that as well, and so, but my motivation will always come back. I want to always be just the best version of myself for him, because I want to be an excellent wife to him and an excellent life partner. And I also want to be my 100% best for my children. And then my job is always something that I take very seriously. I'm not just a teacher and I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants. I take that very seriously. And every day that I'm with students or every day that I'm working with teachers, I take that seriously. And so then I also want to be my best in that situation. And so I'm just always trying to, what can I do to just be the best me? And if I let myself go and I don't care for myself, I can't do any of those things well.
Right. Yeah.
And I've watched the effects of my family over the years. When I stopped taking care of myself, home life isn't great, and it's very obvious because I'm short-tempered. I don't feel well. And then you start seeing the norm start to happen. So this is how my family's norm starts to be. That's just a bad place.
Wow. Yeah.
And so that's why I think, caring for ourselves, not that we do it 100% all the time,
right,
but always coming back to the place of, I just don't want to settle and say, it's just what it is. It doesn't have to be that way though. So.
What encouraging or motivational word would you give to a mom who is trying to manage life and they really want to jump into exercise and nutrition, but they're feeling overwhelming? That feel, it's just like, right, I want to do it all, but how do I get there? And I know that you don't have like 5 points, or she might, Pastor Mackenzie over here.
I kind of do, honestly.
Go ahead.
I think with this new business that I'm working, that is something that I do speak to a lot of women about is, I think we fail often because we think that it has to be this big thing up front. And I'm going to start this diet and I'm going to start exercising.
Right.
Well, you make it a few days and you fail. I mean, or you fail, and then every Monday I'm going to try again. What I've noticed that has worked for so many people, even though I've only been doing this, 4 months now, is you've got to set these itty bitty small goals, and you've got to convince yourself and trust yourself that you can be successful. And so maybe it's, I'm going to give up dessert, and I'm going to do it for a week. And I'm just going to see, that's the only thing I'm going to change about my diet is at night, I'm not going to eat dessert. And then if you can prove to yourself that you can do it for a week, there's a celebration there. The celebration should not be, I get to have dessert.
Right.
I think that's a misconception too, is I'm going to do well nutritionally and I'm going to celebrate my success by overeating. No, like go buy yourself a new lip gloss or nothing.
That's
just
so
be
good.
proud of yourself.
Yeah.
And then set that goal again. I'm going to go one more week until it becomes normal. Or for exercise, I'm going to take a 20-minute walk, and there's 7 days this week, I'm going to aim for at least 5 of those. But I think it's that belief. You've got to convince yourself that you can trust yourself to hit small goals. And then once you start getting excited, and it's not even results-based. It's not even that I'm going to hit that scale. Give up the scale.
Come on.
That scale, there is an unhealthy relationship between women and scales.
Yeah.
But if you'll train your brain to trust you and believe you, then goal setting becomes something you can celebrate. But it has to start small. And convince yourself that you can do it, and have these little victories. And those victories build up to bigger things, and then you create new habits. And that's the way to start. I really hate to see people, especially in the gym, they buy a membership and they hire a trainer. Well, what happens? You get in with that trainer, you're so sore because he's worked you so hard or she's worked you so hard that you're like, this is not the life for me. And then you back out. It's too much and it hurts too bad and I'm done. It's like,
yeah.
Well, let's start biting off slowly and then getting ourselves into a rhythm. So, but it doesn't have to be so big and daunting,
There's this, Stephanie Gretzinger. She's a worship leader at Bethel. Or she's not at Bethel anymore.
Is she the blonde? No.
Red curly hair.
Yes.
So she has a song called Oxygen, and I absolutely love a line. It goes, baby steps and short breaths. Anything is progress.
Yeah. Yes.
And so anytime, whatever that small goal you have, because you don't want to start off crazy, like you said, and try to sign up for the gym.
Right.
Get the personal trainer, and now you can't move.
Right.
But going on a 20-minute walk.
Really. And then let it transcend. Okay, now it's going to be a 30-minute walk.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to hit 40 minutes and you'll get to where you love it and you crave it.
It's so true. It's so true.
It's so true.
Mackenzie, you are awesome. We're coming to the end of the show, but I have some fun questions.
Okay.
What does your family enjoy doing for fun as a family?
My family loves to travel, especially my little girls. They want to travel anywhere and they don't really care where it is. They just want to go somewhere far away and do something different. So that's what they enjoy, which is really expensive with a family of 6. But I work hard to make that happen. So we love to be together and to be out traveling, doing something.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite cheat meal?
Cheat meal?
Yeah.
Mexican food, any of it, all of it, and a lot of it. I don't know. Chips and salsa is my comfort food. I don't know if that's a cheat, though. I don't know if that's so bad for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess in droves of it is. Yeah. Any Mexican food, honestly. I'm not such a big sweets person anymore.
Okay.
The salty gets me. And especially if it's anything Mexican, I'm here for it.
Okay. All right, Mackenzie, can you please tell our moms out there what you're doing now and where they can follow you to ask you more questions about your business?
Oh, my side business?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. I would love to tell you. So I work for a health and wellness company called Plexus. It's all natural supplements, and the whole focus is gut health because we know that if our gut's unhealthy, then it throws majority of things in our health off. And so my focus is to help men and women and children have a healthy gut and see all the beautiful results of that. So I'm on Facebook. I don't have a special page or anything, but I love having the conversation. I'm not pushy. I will never push things on you or bug you or be weird about it. I just have a passion for helping people. And right now, seeing my friends and family have results is the joy of my life. And so,
would you be up for talking about maybe Sunday's victory?
Let me tell you right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I will. So, how much time?
Go ahead. You're good.
So, Sunday is one of my twin girls. And yes, she's adopted, which means I don't have a whole lot of health information or history on her. And so, her only being 6 years old, she started battling radical sickness maybe 3 years ago. And what we started noticing, she's always snored, even as a 4-year-old. But her snore was becoming so loud, like old man style, that it was alarming. And then we started noticing sickness creep in. And she got into such a pattern of being sick on repeat every 2 weeks. Wasn't strep, wasn't flu, wasn't COVID. It was just a constant infection in her sinuses. And the doctors just said, it's viral, let it run its course. There's no medicine for this. So we just got to where it was our norm for her to be sick. It was our norm to listen to her snore and cough through the night. We were in such a pattern that we started doing crazy things trying to help her get well. I was begging the doctor, what am I doing wrong? Do I need to clean my house better? Am I not using enough bleach? Is she not on the right vitamin? And they were like, try elderberry or try this or that. And so we would do all the things and buy anything we could get our hands on with no result. So I finally... I don't give up easily. And so we finally went to a specialist, started seeing an ENT. The first time he saw her, he said, typically for a surgery, getting your tonsils and adenoids removed, you need to have strep a lot. And she didn't. And he said, but she's been so sick, what do we have to lose? Let's just try it.
Yeah.
So whatever. Yes, sir.
Yes.
So we did a really hard surgery this summer, and I was devastated that 2 weeks later she was sick again. Same. She didn't snore anymore. Praise the Lord.
Yeah.
And so she's getting better sleep, but she was sick already. And after she healed and I was telling the doctor, she's still not well. What do we need to do? Kept going back to the ENT, and he finally said, she has we're going to call this an irritable septum, which just means she's just prone to sickness. And that was all he said. And I said, so what do we do about that? And he just said, there's nothing. And he goes, but I can give you an inhaler and it'll help with her onset of symptoms. I said, but we're sick every 2 weeks.
Right.
And he just said, I'm so sorry. So I asked him, do you know anything about more natural things? And he was very clear. I'm trained in medicine. Like, I can't speak to that. And I left. I'll never forget that drive. I cried so hard, and I just begged the Lord, you've given her to me because you knew I could raise her. Come on. I'm a strong girl. I don't know what to do. You have to tell me what to do.
Right.
And so I felt prompted, whether it was the Lord or not, I'm focusing on my gut health. I've seen the benefits with me. I've seen the benefits with my friends and other family members. Why don't I focus on Sunday's gut health and see if maybe that's what it is? And did some research on Plexus and just the products that they do have available for children. And I thought, what do I have to lose? So I got her started and got a calendar out, and I wrote down the day that we started, because it's money. And if I'm going to invest in it, I need to
For sure. Yeah.
be responsible for that investment. So I'm going to track her, and I'm going to see if this is going to work or not. And so she started taking it. She made it 5 weeks the first time without being sick.
Yeah.
But she did get sick again. So it's not like we started it and then the heavens opened. She did get sick, but we broke out of the 2-week cycle. We made it 5 weeks. And so that wasn't very long ago. So right now we're almost at 8 weeks of no sickness.
Yes.
And that's it's the longest time she's gone in years of not being sick.
Are y'all listening, moms?
I know. So I'm just saying that gut health it's imperative. And, the gut health is immunity. It's all tied together. And so my testimony is nothing. Sunday's testimony is everything.
Yeah, I mean,
at the end of the day, if I have no money, I will do whatever it takes to buy her supplements to support her gut health, because it has changed. It's changed her life.
Who wants to see their kid sick?
Right.
No
Seriously.
one. So I totally get just sacrificing. Look.
Yeah. I'll do whatever.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what's your do you have Instagram?
I do have Instagram.
So what's your Facebook and Instagram handle?
So Facebook, I'm just Mackenzie Scott, just straight up. Instagram, it's Mac L Scott.
Well, we love you.
I love you.
And thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.